Hello, everybody. You're listening to Accounting Makes Sense, an MJ the Tutor podcast. And I'm your host, MJ. In this podcast, we are focused on helping accounting students all over the world by offering a quick warm up on various accounting and business topics, hoping to generate bigger discussions and conversations around them. If you are a CIMA case study student right now, then this episode is for you. For this episode, we're going to look at a couple of initial thoughts or tidbits on the SCS pre-scene material for the May 2024 exam session. This is a similar episode format to the ones I do previously, where I talk about some key points raised from the pre-scene material. Anyway, I hope you guys gain some helpful insights from these episodes to help you with your preparation. I would also just like to put out a disclaimer that these thoughts are simply my own opinion. You should not take these thoughts as the only important aspects of the pre-scene material. There would be others. As you read through the pre-scene more and more, you should be able to glean more for yourselves other important factors to consider. My opinions here, or my thoughts here, are neither really wrong or right. They are simply here to offer help in analyzing situations as well as provide information from another perspective. Okay, so as mentioned, our main reference for today is the May 2024 SCS pre-scene, which came out a couple of weeks ago. So I've read the pre-scene a couple of times already and have gathered these initial thoughts. I'm going to offer 4 tidbits for today. You should take these as clues, for lack of a better word, clues into the world of the pre-scene company and its industry. Before we start off with the tidbits, a small backgrounder is to introduce the pre-scene company. Our pre-scene company for this session is called Safewell. So it is a quoted company that offers advice and support on corporate security and enterprise risk management. Safewell offers a number of different services which are geared towards helping other companies with managing their risks, be it physical security risks or cybersecurity risks. This is an interesting take in that most of the tidbits for today you could probably, consider as no-brainers because of this topic. So let's start with the tidbits. The first tidbit to share is on enterprise risk management itself. This is really a big topic, but having a good understanding of the various approaches related to enterprise risk management would be good to have. In particular, on the strategic level, you are expected to be able to advise on the company's compliance with the COSO ERM and the ISO 31000 risk management guidelines. Now, this may sound very theoretical, and we all know that case studies are not really theoretical exams, but more about application. Having said that, though, knowing and understanding these frameworks well will help students answer questions related to proposals or recommendations on what to do best. There could be questions where major customers or clients ask for recommendations on how to fix certain situations related to their management of risks or their risk strategies within their businesses. Since Safewell is an expert on this topic, it would be almost expected that as an employee of Safewell, that you yourself would be an expert on this topic as well. So definitely anything to do with ERM would be something to watch out for. The second tidbit is a continuation of our discussion with regards ERM, but this time I want to shift the focus on something specific, which is cybersecurity. Given Safewell's expertise in the different intelligence-led investigation, it would be wise for students to gain a comprehensive understanding of the various offerings under this service. As an example, one of them is penetration testing, also known as ethical hacking. This involves evaluation of the security of systems, networks, and applications by simulating real-world cyber attacks. Penetration testing aims to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses that malicious actors could exploit to gain unauthorized access or cause harm. Students should familiarize themselves with various types of penetration testing, including network penetration testing, web application penetration testing, and social engineering attacks. Now, understanding the methodologies, tools, and techniques employed in penetration testing is crucial so that we are able to think about how to build robust cybersecurity defenses and protecting against potential threats. So you have to be able to grasp the intricacies of penetration testing, as well as, be able to explain what contributes to create a more secure digital environment. And you obviously have to be able to explain this to your clients and customers. The third tidbit is on competitive advantage and market competition. Safewell has two major competitors. There are more, of course, but the focus is on these two. The first one is the biggest player in the industry, which is Growbar. Their strategy is extensive. They provide clients with a wide variety of services such as cleaning and property maintenance on top of the security services. The second competitor is somewhat closer to Safewell in size as well as business, and this is Brotto. They do exactly what Safewell is doing, although they are slightly behind us at the moment. To compete effectively with these two major competitors, Safewell actually has to adopt a multifaceted approach that capitalizes on its own strengths while strategically differentiating itself in key areas. When contending with the largest player, Safewell can carve out a niche by specializing in unique services tailored to specific industries or regions. Investing in innovative technology and fostering strategic partnerships can also set Safewell apart. But the issue with using innovative technology is that we'll probably find that Growbar would be able to compete with us in this way, toe to toe. We could prioritize also trying to offer exceptional customer service, which can foster stronger customer relationships, further distinguishing Safewell based on the quality of the customer experience. In contrast, though, when you compete with a similar, slightly behind competitor like Brodo, Safewell can highlight its extensive global presence, its expertise in intelligence-led risk management, and superior training programs for its security staff. We also want to be able to emphasize the unique value proposition that we can offer, as well as be able to be flexible or strategically adjust our pricing strategies to be able to continue expanding into new markets, new territories, thereby solidifying our dominance over this slightly behind competitor. We really need to be able to find a way to differentiate our brand to be able to gain competitive advantage from both sides, from both competitors. And it's not really, a good idea to follow two different kinds of strategies. So we may have to look at which one is better to take now. So which competitor to tackle first. The last tidbit is based on an observation I found on the financial statements. Now, this may be something relevant or not so much, so just keep this in mind. You may have observed the same, that the property plant equipment, so PPE, has increased for the year-on-year amounts. The increase is 34%, and that is a significant amount. Now, generally, this is not really, out of the ordinary if you can find that it corresponds with an increase in loans, long-term liabilities, or equity, because it shows that the increase in the asset was funded by loans or shares. Now, in this case, what is interesting is that there is no corresponding amount of increase. So as you can see from the financials, the loans have stayed the same, the shares have stayed the same. And we can certainly look at other options on how to finance asset purchase through non-equity or non-debt means, i.e. cash, but the amount of increase is really substantial if it was done via cash, right? So this is kind of an interesting, I'd say, anomaly on the financial statements. So I could hazard a guess that maybe one of the other reason here could be a revaluation of the PPE, where this would be a non-cash entry in the books. Again, not uncommon, but it is interesting to note that there is as high as 30% increase in the assets. So that would mean we were undervalued for a long time, maybe, or there is a sudden revaluation and we found an asset that is valued more than what we paid for it, which is okay, right? But just something to really think about. Whether the increase of the PPE without the corresponding increase in loans and equities is favorable or unfavorable really depends on what the increase achieves. If the rise in the PPE is driven by strategic movements or investments in growth opportunities like expanding operations or upgrading technology, then obviously it signals a positive prospect for, profitability in the long run, as well as contributing to competitiveness of the business. However, because there is a lack of corresponding increase in both liability and equity, this could raise questions about the productivity of the asset. And it could mean that we're missing out on leveraging debt for strategic growth opportunities. So obviously, we gotta understand what the capital expenditure plan is, the financing strategy of the company, as well as long-term objectives of this company to be able to see whether, what are the implications to the company's financial health and the direction that the company is taking. Anyway, that is it for me for this episode. I hope you were able to glean the same tidbits from the pre-scene as I did, maybe even more. Keep on reading that pre-scene to gain a better understanding of the scenario. As always, I thank you for listening to Accounting Makes Sense. I'm your host, MJ the Tutor. If you're keen to connect to be updated with the arrival of the next episode of this podcast or find CIMA resources online, please head on over to my website, www.mjthetutor.com. You can also hit subscribe on whichever platform you are using to listen to this podcast. If you want to connect on social media, I'm on Facebook, X, and Instagram under the name MJ the Tutor. So, I hope to see you again next time. Ciao for now!